Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another log review. Today, a movie that has been one of the most anticipated movies of the year. Not Spider-Man. We already talked about that. We're talking about The Matrix, baby. It's been probably around 20 years since the last one. I don't know. They mostly came out when I was a fucking infant or before I was born, so I'm not the biggest Matrix aficionado, okay? I've only seen the first movie, and I heard the second one was alright, and I heard the third one was dog shit. But I didn't bother to watch either of those. I watched like a 6-minute IGN video explaining what happens in them, and it was very confusing and weird. But what's not confusing and weird in The Matrix? What's not? Anyways, this movie was very anticipated. It was one of my most anticipated because the trailer looked dope as shit. I understood that maybe the movie would go past itself and be a little weird and not be the best movie, but I understood also that it looked dope as fuck and that it would at least be a spectacle to watch. And some of this I was right on, and some of this I was wrong on. Either way, this was like my third most anticipated movie of the year, and let's talk about it. It wasn't good. You guys already know this. Most of you already know this. There's people everywhere talking about their opinions on The Matrix, and none of it's good. But don't think that means you shouldn't watch it, okay? I think you should. I still think you should, and here's why, okay? I did like the movie. But not for the right reasons. It is a very good, so bad it's good movie. It is very, very good at doing that because it is just so blatantly fucking weird in so many different ways that do not work in a writing standpoint, but are so laugh out loud funny to watch. Like, why the hell would they write a movie like this? Who would have thought that this was a good idea? Oh my god, there's just so much dumb shit. There's just so much dumb shit, and it's just cinema. It's cinema perfection. And I guarantee you, if you watch this movie, you should watch it at home. Don't watch it in theaters like I did, because what you should do is you should watch parts of it and skip other parts. Okay, you should just watch the fun stuff. That's the best way to watch this movie. Let's talk about what I liked though. The ideas in the movie were actually really strong. It had some really good ideas for the characters and where they were going, especially Neo in the first act. His whole idea of not realizing which world he's in and whether or not the Matrix is real, or whether his whole like mental standpoint of things. He's going to a therapist. He's not sure whether or not he's grounded in reality, or whether or not this Matrix idea that he has is a real thing and what happens is real, or if it's just all in his head. There's a really interesting idea with that. It's not done well, but I'll talk about that later. Some of the shots are pretty. I'll say that. Some of the shots are pretty. Not a lot. Some of them were. Some of the shots are pretty. Yep, that's where I can say there. There's not a good directing job. I'm talking about what I like right now. Okay, it's hard. It all seeps in. There was one fight scene that I thought was pretty dope. There was one really dope fight scene. It's a one-on-one fight with an agent, and you'll know the one when you watch it. I thought it was pretty cool. And I just like the over-the-topness of it. It was. I guess this could be a downside too, but I thought it was so wacky over the top in some parts that it was just so fun. There was some weird ass shit they did in there, and it was very Matrixy. It was a very Matrix movie, but it worked against it in some cases, but it was so Matrix, like maybe more than it's ever been before. Now let's just talk about what I dislike, because that's way easier. This is like the worst written movie I've ever seen in my life. The whole plot, especially the first act. Okay, I said I like the ideas, but the execution is so bad. It is so confusingly weird. It's the most meta movie I've ever seen. Like I'll give a minor spoiler. Right now, minor spoiler. I guess it's a little bit of a major spoiler. But like, one of the main plot points in the first part of the movie is them being asked by Warner Brothers to make a fourth Matrix. Literally, Keanu is working on making a fourth Matrix while he's in the fourth Matrix movie. It's just way too meta. It's way too meta. Like, why the fuck would they make a huge movie? Like, it's one of the biggest movies of the year, and they wrote it like this? What the hell? Another thing I disliked, it was the acting, but it's not their fault. The actors did their best. They were just written so bad, so I guess I can't say the acting was bad. But they were so awkward in so many scenes, and it just did not work because of the fucking writing, man. The characters written so bad. There were so many dumb lines and so many dumb parts. And Keanu has a game award at some point. It's just so stupid. It's so stupid. The beginning and the end are so much fun, but they're so bad at the same time. Like, I can't say this is a good movie at all, but God, it was so fun to watch. Um, Anything that takes place in the real world, I guess you can say this a bit for the old movies too. But anything that takes place in the real world is insanely boring, and you will completely zone out. There's some characters in the real world or in a whole area that honestly every character in the real world is fucking boring. Even Keanu is kind of boring in the real world. It's just so fucking boring, and the things that the characters do are so dumb. Like, oh, this guy, he's our only chance at escaping the aliens, or what is it, the AI and shit. Let's just say, nah, we don't want you to do that. Go to jail. It's just some stupid shit. There's just some stupid shit, and it's really boring and also still badly written. And here's the one that's gonna catch you off guard. The action is really bad. It has really bad action. The trailer makes the action look super cool. It makes it look dope, and I expected it to be super cool. It's the Matrix, you know. They're really good at making some dope ass jujitsu shit and shooting it really weird and making them do fun, wacky shit. But it's so badly cut. I swear to God, every time there's an action scene in this movie, I was having a headache. It was going, it was wobbling around like crazy, constant cuts. You had no idea what was going on, and I thought I was gonna vomit. It was some of the worst action I've ever seen, except for one fight scene. And then when Keanu's using powers, he literally is just, oh look, I hold my hands up, bullets stop moving. That's it. That's the only powers he really uses the whole movie. It's really fucking boring action, and I hate it. There's some funny shit that happens during some of the action scenes, especially one at the end, but that's again not good. And the plot was really confusing. But that's a Matrix movie. This one is extra confusing and extra bad, too. Everything was bad. The characters, the plot, the writing was just insanely fucking dog shit in this movie. But I still think you should see it. Let's get into the rating for this movie. As far as a so bad it's good movie, it's a 7 out of 10. Because when it's so bad, it is so bad. And it's so fucking entertaining to watch in those scenes, okay? But when it's in the real world, it is so boring. So I can't give it it's not the best so bad it's good movie ever, because when it's trying to be serious, it's so boring. But it's not, and it's not wacky, it's just boring. But I think this movie would be a really good movie if you want to just watch the goofy parts and skip the real world shit. I think you'll have a great time just watching that with the boys. As far as the movie itself, it's a 4 out of 10. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but it's done because it has some good ideas, but they're done so badly. That's all I've really got to say. This movie sucks, but you should watch it. Have a good night, everybody.